Hello, my friends. My name is Terry Petrovick, and welcome to the Terry Petrovick Radio Show, sponsored by the Home Business Radio Network. Today, we have a special treat, my friend. Today, I'm actually going to be interviewing my daughter, Christina Petrovick Hagelin. Christina, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today, I want to talk about what it's like growing up in a network marketing or a home-based business family. Why don't you share a little bit about, from your perspective, what it was like when I was in the corporate world, and then we'll talk about what it's like when I was out of the rat race, if you will.
In the corporate world, you traveled a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see him as much as we wanted to. If there was an emergency, we couldn't, just take off like he could when he started working from home. And, it's kind of sad, but the quote-unquote rat race doesn't really allow you to, or think about you spending time with your family. It's all about how can you make more money for the corporation.
Yeah. I know I did travel a lot. Sometimes I would work 80 hours a week, which meant getting up before you guys woke up and going to work and working sometimes until dinner time. I'd come home for dinner and then go back. And I know that I had my wake-up call, when Matt was 8 years old, and I guess you were 10, and for some crazy reason, he climbed into my lap and asked me the question, "Dad, do you still love me?" And I was like, "Oh, son, break my heart. Why would you ever ask me that?" And he said, "I just never see you anymore." And that was a defining moment. And I know a lot of people today are struggling in the corporate rat race. And I guess we, Mom and I made that decision to go for this. And I wouldn't recommend anybody actually quit their job and do something this full time unless they were in a position. But what was it like in terms of family dynamics after I, made that decision from your perspective?
Well, first of all, to watch your father go for it, to say, you know what, I'm not happy, I want something better, and instead of just complaining and whining about it like most people do, to actually take action. I feel like that was really important for our character development as a young person, seeing that it's okay to be scared, but to still take the leap and trust in yourself and create something from nothing is just huge. To be able to see your parents take control of their destiny, it's incredible. It's a great life lesson.
Yeah, and I know for me, I guess my first 2 years working at home, I got involved with different companies, and my intention was to have a home-based business, but I was gone more than I was pretty much in the corporate rat race. So that was.
And I was a teenager, and I really didn't care. Just pay my cell phone bill, and I'll be fine.
So that was a kind of a challenge, and I know company number, I guess 4 it was, Mom started crying, and when I told her I was going to get involved with a 4th company, and she told me to get a real job again. But it's just like you said, it's about creating that vision and creating that hope of new possibilities. And priority number 1 for me has always been my family. And, I think everybody can relate to making mistakes. We all make mistakes, but not giving up on that vision. And I know as you and Matt kind of grew up, having basically 2 stay-at-home parents, once I got my act together and found out something that was working for me, you made the decision actually to defer college and to get involved full-time in the home-based business profession. Talk a little bit about how that decision came about and, what you decided for yourself.
Well, it was really the best decision I've ever made in my entire life for multiple reasons. I was going to go to art school because that's what I thought was cool and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't have like a plan. I just wanted to go with the flow and that kind of stuff. But once I got a peek of the lifestyle that I could create with a network marketing income and the freedom really of the lifestyle to be able to just create whatever you wanted, it was so attractive compared to, going to college, studying something I wasn't, really sure what I wanted to do with. Right. And what it allowed me to do was to create a massively successful international business from home at the age of 18, while my friends were, working in restaurants, creating debt, not only with school debt, credit card debt, and just watching them, they still didn't know what they wanted to do, but they were spending all this money and just getting wasted. And, that's not really the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted something more. I've always wanted to have the fancy cars and the nice house. And I've always had the vision, like, I deserve that life of luxury. And I didn't think that college was the answer. And today, I'm just looking at my friends who, they spent 6 years in college.
Right.
They're still working,
right.
part-time as a waitress because they didn't get that sense of purpose. They didn't get a, burning desire of any sort in college.
Right.
They just kind of floated through and are now living an average life because no one told them that they actually could dream. They kind of just have been in that mediocrity of just doing what everybody else does.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm so proud of you. Naturally, I'm your dad, and I'm naturally proud. But I think, that first year, and I built part of an organization, but you stepped in as a leader and actually went out there and did some things. And I think that first year you made around $60,000, which is probably more than some of your teachers at your high school
Yeah,
made.
It was amazing. And I tried to go recruit all my teachers, and not any of them. I mean, some of them bought product, but they weren't really interested.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit, behind us we have all kinds of books. Let's talk a little bit about the role of personal development, how that has played out in your life.
It is probably one of the most important things that I've got out of network marketing, because a lot of people that I work with are baby boomers, and they were like, oh, you're so lucky to have started your personal development journey at 18 instead of 50 when you're having a midlife crisis and you don't know what you want to do with your life. So I feel really blessed to just have gone to seminars at such a young age to start really thinking about what I wanted and what was important.
Right.
Starting at such a young age, I had all these goals, and some of them I made happen and some of I didn't make happen. But goals are kind of cool because it's like a target. If you just throw a bullseye at it, if you miss, you just keep on throwing until you get closer and closer, and eventually you do reach your goals. So as far as personal development, it's really made me stand out from the average person, I feel like. And my husband, he and I met when we were young, and so I got him into personal development too. And so our whole relationship and our marriage has been based on growing and doing new things and stepping outside of the box and asking ourselves every day, how can we be better? What can we do? What books should we read? And that really keeps our marriage very strong, and it keeps us looking for people and friends and relationships that make us better instead of bring us down. We are always going in a positive upward direction instead of getting dragged down by people who say we can't. We're always going to our higher self and the higher road.
Well, what do you do when, I was talking to a prospect yesterday, and he says, everybody that's around me is just negative and said the home-based business industry is a scam. Nobody can make any money at it. The guys at the top are the only ones who get wealthy. When you encounter somebody with that, I guess, negative energy, what do?
Run away fast. Get away from those people. People who are like that will continue to bring you down if you continue to put yourself around them.
Right.
I definitely over the years have
had... So it's a choice, it sounds like.
It's a choice. Everything's a choice. Your viewpoints, your attitudes, your friends, everything's a choice in life. And it's hard, but sometimes you have to say, you know what, I love you. We've been friends for 10 years or longer, and you kind of suck, and I'm not really going to be your friend anymore. And sometimes you say that to their face if they don't get it, and sometimes you don't have to. You just kind of start stepping away from them. And, maybe it begins with just not answering the phone every time they call, because it is hard when you love somebody, but you know that they're bad for you. It's like a bad relationship. You kind of just have to do less and less of it, and then find the people that you are wanting to be like. You are wanting to pursue a better character, find people that you want to be like that are better than you, and they'll bring you up to their level, and you'll start finding yourself talking about different things instead of like the bad stuff. You'll talk about the good stuff, and creating that space for, the vacuum law you taught me when I was dating, get rid of the old stinky boyfriend, create the space for the better one. And, it's really important.
You found one too, didn't you?
I did, and you got it. I think that's really important. Get rid of the junk that you don't want so that you can get what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. What has been, the biggest challenge for you? As a young person, you started pretty much when you were 18 years old. And what was the biggest challenge for you building a business like this?
Time management, because there's no one looking over your shoulder. You're not punching a time clock for a boss. for me, time management and, having a ritual or a daily task list began to help that. But I think the most important thing is accountability. Getting on your team calls, being a part of a team that, they're saying, you said you would get 5 prospects to a meeting or a conference call, and you need to have somebody call you on your stuff. And if you're not having somebody call you on your stuff, you're going to let things go to the wayside. Right. You're not going to put a priority on your business because no one's holding you accountable. But when you have a team and a coach saying, I believe in you, you can do it, let's do it, working with you, then it's easier to do the things you want to do because they're saying, did you do it?
Right.
And you don't want to let them down, so you're like, okay, I have to do it.
That's right. So let's say one of our listeners is a young person. What advice would you give that person?
Find a good team. Find a leader that you like, that you want to be like, that you want to work with, that have achieved what you want to achieve. Mm-hmm. I would write down goals. That's one of the most important things that you can do is have a good set of 10 goals, that you want to start working towards, and take action. I think action is probably the most important thing. No matter what you do, you've got to get off your butt and do something.
Yeah. What if one of our listeners is a parent? And they have a young child, maybe 18, 19, early 20s. What advice would you give to them to help them help their child get the power of the home-based business industry?
Well, I think what you did was, for me, just getting me around the community, introducing me to people that were like me, that had a successful business, who wanted more and that they were working for it. I don't think that I could have ever heard it from you, no matter how many times you said, it was cool, because it was like your thing. I didn't see it as my thing until I saw people who were like me doing it. And when I saw that, it clicked. So I think no matter who you're talking to, you need to figure out what's important to them and then match them up with somebody who has what they want, and so that they can believe that it's possible.
Fantastic. Well, I know we could talk here for another hour or 2 hours about why we love this industry and this profession, awesome. and how it's changed our lives and our families. But I just want to say thanks for making time. I know you're incredibly busy these days. And my friends listening, I want to thank you for being part of the Terry Petrovick Radio Show. And if you want to continue the conversation, what we're about at the Home Business Radio Network is positive powered radio. We are all about making a difference. We are all about creating positive change in people's lives. So if you want to continue the conversation, you can certainly check out my blog at terrypetrovick.com. That's Terry, Terry, Petrovick, Petro like oil, and Vic like Victor. That's Petrovick.com. And be sure to connect with me on my Facebook fan page. That's facebook.com/fan of Terry Petrovick. Appreciate you listening in today. Christina, thanks so much for being here today. And remember this, my friends, you have a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and a prosperous one, because you absolutely deserve it. Until next time, bye-bye for now.